Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah and I'm a family nurse practitioner, and I've officially been working in the urgent care for a full year. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you 4 very important things that you need to know prior to starting your first day at the urgent care. So let's get right into it. So working in the urgent care, you're going to be looking in a lot of ears. So number 1 on the list is you have to learn how to handle an otoscope. And I know handling an otoscope might look easy, but it's honestly a lot harder than it appears. So if you're anything like me, you really haven't had your hands on an otoscope since school. So prior to working in the urgent care, I didn't really have any recent experience handling an otoscope. Finding the eardrum for an adult where you're pulling up and back is different than a kid where you're pulling down. So these are things that I just really had to figure out through trial and error. And I'm just going to give you a tip from my own experience so you can avoid the headache. And that is just buy an otoscope off of Amazon. They're cheap. You can practice on your family members and your friends. And then when you walk into your first day at the urgent care, it's not going to be a big deal. You've been practicing, you're good to go. You're not struggling, yanking on somebody's ear trying to find their eardrum. So definitely get some practice in because you're going to need it. All right, this one is actually my least favorite, and the skill that I dreaded the absolute most prior to starting at the urgent care is suturing. You're going to have to know how to suture prior to starting to the urgent care. And I'm not saying you have to be a pro. No, you just have to have the basic techniques down. Practice simple interrupted sutures. That's really the basis of your knowledge, and that's really all you need to know off the bat. And they can be completed by pretty much anyone. Personally, I was petrified of suturing my first human being at the urgent care. I only had experience suturing the fake skin that comes in those practice kits. And by the way, yes, the fake skin feels completely different than human skin, but it was so helpful to have practice just maneuvering my hands and how to handle the instruments and the basic technique of suturing, that although the texture of the fake skin was not nearly the same as human skin, it was still invaluable. So will your patients have the most beautifully symmetrical, perfectly aligned sutures? No. But are the wound edges approximated? Yes, and that's what's most important. With time, you're going to perfect the technique. With time, you're going to master your craft. And with time, you will create the most beautiful sutures. But prior to your first day, you really got to get the technique down, because your very first day, you may have a patient come in with a laceration. And if you don't know the basic technique, you're going to be in big trouble. You're going to have to turn the patient away. And I don't want that for you. So practice. Order that fake skin off Amazon and get your practice in. You're going to have to know how to draw blood. I find myself being called into the room a lot by the medical assistants who tell me that they are not able to draw blood on a patient because they can't find their veins. And to be honest, it literally happened to me today. This afternoon, I got called into the room because the medical assistant unfortunately was not able to locate a vein for the patient, and I was able to draw the blood. So for all the nurses who have recent nursing experience drawing blood for patients, this is going to be a walk in the park, piece of cake, no issues for you, right? But for those people who don't have history working in the type of environments where you're going to have to draw blood, this might be a struggle for you, okay? If you don't have that recent experience drawing blood on patients, see if you can practice on your coworkers. When I first started, all the medical assistants were poking each other. You'd be surprised how many people are willing to give you an arm and let you practice on them. So I would definitely recommend practicing on your coworkers just to kind of prepare you for the inevitable, which is you're going to have to draw blood on some patients. It is what it is. You're the provider. You are the final step to that patient walking out the door and not being able to have their labs drawn, which is not a good look for the urgent care, the company, you as a provider. So just work on it. Try to get some practice in and take every opportunity that's given to you to draw blood. Take it eagerly and practice. You're going to have to learn how to talk to children and their guardians. So you're going to be seeing a lot of children at the urgent care. And all kids are afraid of 2 things. Number 1, that you're going to hurt them. And number 2, that they're going to get a shot. And 90% of the time, That's literally not even the case. Neither one of those are going to happen. Kids need a lot of reassurance throughout the entire exam. Something that you have to remember is that you probably have a very anxious parent who's sitting in the room observing you very closely and who's worried about their injured or very sick child. Always acknowledge both the parent and the patient. Always make sure that you're reassuring both the parent and the patient throughout the entire exam. And you have to make sure that the guardian feels included. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. My only saving grace is that I have kids of my own. And yes, I'm one of those parents that talks to my children like little angels and sweet little marshmallows. Okay. So the way that I get through it is I talk to all of my pediatric patients in the same way. They might be screaming at the top of their lungs. They might be completely irate, but I still treat them like they're my child, honestly. Something also that you need to remember, do not let the parent just sit there while you're struggling with an irate patient, okay? The parent lives with them. The parent knows them best. So recruit that parent to help you. I never hesitate to ask parents to hold the child while I look into their ears, or hold the child and calm the child while I'm listening to their lungs. This is perfectly acceptable. It's going to make your exam that much easier, and it just helps with the flow, the ease, and the speed of your exam. So with these pediatric patients, just be very patient, be very kind, and explain everything. It really goes a long way. People just love when you treat their child with kindness. And offering a sticker or some candy, that's just icing on the cake. So those were my top 4 tips on things that you need to learn prior to starting your first day at urgent care. So please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.